Brethren, I want to speak to you today on our own, very own character. I don't know, you heard me saying this before. In the 1,000-year reign of Jesus Christ, you never know what might be said about you or about us. We read in our Bible today about people in the past and the life they lived and the faith they exhibit in God and how they dealt with man on a daily basis. Have you ever wondered when you read through the obituary and you see all the wonderful things that are said about people at the time of death, all the great things they did and the way they dealt with man? You ever wonder what kind of a name you would like to leave behind? What kind of a name? What would you like people to say about you? How would you like people to see you? Are you making a name for yourself? This is a question you'll have to answer yourself. This is a searching you have to do yourself. How would you like your neighbor to see you? What would you like your friends to say about you today or tomorrow? And then again, you have to also ask yourself, how would I like God to see me? What kind of a name am I making for myself between myself and my God? Ecclesiastes 7 and verse 1 gives us an insight. A good name is better than precious ointment. Boy, I remember that woman Mary, when she anointed the feet of Jesus Christ with the ointment that she had. Some of the disciples, they weren't happy that she took this expensive ointment to anoint the feet of Jesus. And Jesus said, leave her alone. She do it for my burial. But not only that, he also said, wherever this message is preached, it must be remembered of her as a memorial, what she did, as a memorial for her. So here is a lady, a follower of Jesus Christ, not intentionally making a name for herself, but the good deed that she did was recognized by Jesus. A good name is better than precious ointment, brethren. And the day of death than the day of birth. Why death? Why not birth? Well, at birth, you have not developed a reputation at birth. Maybe your parents, they develop a reputation in giving birth. They can speak of the first child and the second child, and the third, the fourth, and the fifth, and on and on. How good they became at it. But that child haven't developed a reputation. But at death, throughout its lifetime, we can develop reputations. Proverbs 10 and verse 7. The memory of the just is blessed, but the name of the wicked shall rot. If you develop a good reputation, how much you will be remembered for the good you've done. And we can think of a lot of good people in our lifetime. We can look back and see people that have left a good reputation. They are mentioned in the scriptures for the good things they've done. I just mentioned to you Mary with the ointment. We studied last week Hannah and the good name that she left. And in our studies, we saw her as a barren woman who could not give birth, and she prayed to God. Eli the priest saw her moving her lips. He thought she was drunk. He says, no. She said, no, I'm not drunk. I am a woman with many sorrows and grief. And she prayed the Lord, and she made a vow. And she said, Lord, if you give me a man-child, I will lend him to you all the days of his life. And in our studies last Sabbath, we saw her fulfilling her vows. And she gave that child back to the Lord. She said to Eli, this is what, remember this woman, the woman that was standing there and you thought I was drunk? I prayed and asked the Lord for this child, and he gave me this child. And the scripture tells us that her husband knew her, and the Lord remembered her. And she gave birth of a man-child. His name was Samuel. A very prominent man in scriptures. She left a good name behind. Today, she is still in our lips. She is still in our messages. The memory of the just shall be blessed. She cannot depart from our lips. God caused it to be written here, so we know that if we are faithful and just, if we do that which is right, the good things that we've done will affect the lives of others for years to come. So should we also develop a good reputation to our God? Matthew 22, verse 37. This lawyer came to Jesus, trying to trick him. And he's asking, trying to tempt him, Master, which is the greatest commandment in the law? Do you remember Jesus' reply? He says, Thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart and with all thy soul and with all thy mind. That Matthew 22 and verse 37. And then he says, this is the first and great commandment. The second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments, Jesus says, hang all the law and the prophets. We can build a reputation by loving God, keeping His commandments. The 10 Commandments is the basis on which all God's law stands.